You probably all know the story of St. Maria Goretti, but it's good for us to recall and remember her life. She was born in Nettuno, Italy, of a very poor family. And in 1902, she was 10 years old. Her father died when she was very young. And the family owned a farm, as well as other families in the community. And Maria would watch her 4 younger brothers and also some of the neighbors' children every day while their parents went out to work in the fields. And there was a man whom her father had hired to be a worker on the farm. His name was Alessandro Serenelli. And he started to make unchaste advances toward Maria. She was slightly 12 years old, and she refused. He wanted her to give in, and she refused. And he became impetuous about it, and he kept taunting her, and she continued to refuse, and he even said that he would kill her, which eventually he did. One time when he was trying to get her to give in, she just said, "Alessandro, you're going to go to hell if you do this." And he became so angry that she refused him that he stabbed her 14 times. When she was taken to the hospital, she was still alive, and she forgave her assassin before she passed away, and even said, "I hope that he will be with me in paradise someday." What a saintly young girl. Pope Pius XII canonized Maria Goretti, Teresa was her middle name, in 1950. And what happened to her assassin, he was sent to prison, and after 8 years in the prison, he had a dream one night in which he saw Maria Goretti coming and giving him a bouquet of beautiful flowers. He was so moved by that it changed his whole life. He repented of what he had done, and he tried to live a life according to God's will. And that was in 1910. In 1928, he was released from prison, and he went to Maria's mother asking for her forgiveness, which of course she did. And then the two of them attended Christmas Eve Mass together, and they both received communion. What an incredible story. Forgiveness, a young girl who defends her virginity because she knows that it's not pleasing God. And like the reading said today, we've been purchased at a great price, therefore glorify God in your body. That's a good line for us to remember as we may be tempted to do anything impure. And Maria stands as a fine example. And Alessandro Serenelli was also present at her canonization. Her mother was at her canonization, and so was her assassin. Just stands out in our time as a young girl who showed such courage. She had a very good prayer life even as a child. She was uneducated, but she did learn from her mother and father how important God was in her life, and she tried to live by that. And to so love God that she would even die for her faith rather than commit a mortal sin is certainly an example to all of us in our day and time, that certainly we need an example of a strong and courageous person like Maria Goretti, who says to us that it's possible with the grace of God to do all things, because even if we die, we know that we have a place of eternal joy and peace in heaven. And so her feast day is a good one for all of us to reflect on how such a young girl could even be willing to die for her faith, but did it out of love for God. And so for us too, we may not be asked to be martyred, but sometimes we're asked to make sacrifices. Sometimes we find ourselves suffering in one way or another and find it very difficult. We should be like Maria Goretti and offer it up to the Lord and just say all things are for the greater honor and glory of God. And if we do that, then we too are going to be finding ourselves in eternity one day. Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions to our Heavenly Father.